What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the Davis versus Martin, Benavidez versus Vocic breakdown, Amazon pay-per-view breakdown and prediction video, as those two fights are headlining a big Amazon Prime pay-per-view card. I'm also going to discuss the two prelim cards, or prelim fights to that card. That should be good. So before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So yeah, I'm very excited about this card, whether I get to watch it or not. I might be able to watch it, might not. Travel ball might mess that up, but I'm really excited to seeing what happens with these two cards, or with this whole card in total. We're going to discuss 7 fights right now, and I'm going to kick it off with the prelim fights, where you're going to have on the co-feature of the prelim card, which is free. You're going to see oh Jesus, what's his name? God, I'm drawing a blank. You're going to see Romain Villa, the Colombian 31-year-old welterweight, taking on a guy named Ricardo Salas, only has 2 losses himself. So, interesting welterweight battle. Villa, if you don't remember him, he upset Rashidi Ellis last year, handed him his first loss, and then he got a crack against Boots Ennis in July of last year. Now, he hasn't fought since that loss to Boots, but he showed a lot of heart in that fight. You know, he took a punishment. He didn't go down until the 10th round when Boots finally finished him, but he showed a ton of heart. He's a tough guy, and I'm looking forward to seeing him back, because you can argue that Villa is a top 10 welterweight. So he returns and takes on Ricardo Ellis. Hasn't really fought anybody of note. You know, I think it's going to be a slugfest here, and I think Villa is going to beat Salas. We'll see what happens, though. Should be an entertaining co-feature on the prelim card. But the main event goes to the middleweights, where you have 21-year-old undefeated middleweight Elijah Garcia, who's 16-0 with 13 knockouts, is battling contender Kyrone Davis. So this is an interesting one right here, because Garcia, this is going to be his biggest fight to date. He's undefeated. He's been rolling over everybody. This fight was supposed to happen back in March. I think Garcia suffered an injury. Davis, though, is no pushover. Davis is a guy that fought to a draw with Anthony Durrell at 168. He stepped in and got the crack at David Benavidez in November of 2022. Got stopped in that fight, but showed a lot of heart. That was in 2021. He took 2022 off and then returned in 2023 and got 2 victories. So Davis, only 29, you know, is a good opponent for Garcia here. If is a good pass the test type guy for Elijah Garcia. If Garcia can stop him, then he'll really be in a good position if he can beat him. I think Garcia is going to beat him. I think he's going to stop Kyrone Davis in the late rounds. It definitely could go to a decision. Davis is a guy that's good enough to take fighters to decision, so I really wouldn't be surprised if it went 12 rounds, but we'll see what happens. So that's it for that prelim card. Now the main card has 5 fights on it. You're going to see former featherweight champion Mark Magsayo open the card up and battle former world title challenger Eduardo Ramirez? Yeah, I think it's Eduardo Ramirez, who is a pretty solid former featherweight contender right here. Yeah, he moved up and fought Mark Magsayo, or fought Isaac Cruz a couple years back and got stopped in only 2 rounds. But that was the most he'd ever. I think he barely had made his debut at 130, and then he moved to 135. Now at 130, taking on Magsayo, he's still coming into underdog. They're both the same height. He's got a couple inch reach advantage, but I like the matchup. I do, and I think it's a good one. I think it's going to be a good scrap all the way through. But I do think Magsayo's going to stop him in the middle of the later rounds. But I do think Ramirez is built to take this fight. I mean, is it Eduardo Ramirez? I think it's Eduardo Ramirez. God, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here. Or Hernandez. But I think he's good enough to take him into the deep waters in a good fight. So I'm really looking forward to that one to open the show. Then in the next fight, you got an interim title, a vacant interim title on the line for the WBC at 140. The WBC interim title is on the line as undefeated's battle. You got Gary Antoine Russell, undefeated, 17-0, 17 knockouts, battling former WBA champion Alberto Puello, who's 22-0 at 10 knockouts. Battle of two southpaws right here. They're right around the same size. Going to be an interesting battle right here. I think Puello's got a good chance. He throws a lot of punches, but I think Russell's just going to overwhelm him at some point because Russell's the bigger puncher, a little bit younger fighter, and I think Russell's going to beat Puello in this one. But it is going to be a good, fun scrap as long as it lasts. Next, you have the middleweight, the WBC middleweight championship on the line when Carlos Adames makes his first official defense against former world title challenger Terrell Gausha. Interesting battle right here. They're right around the same size. Not really much of a size advantage. But you got Adames, who's still kind of, I think he's 31 in that area, taking on the 36-year-old Gausha, who this is, in my opinion, is his last hurrah. So he's getting another crack, one that he probably doesn't deserve, but he has bounced back with a win since the stoppage loss to Tim Tszyu a couple years back. Or no, the decision loss to Tim Tszyu a couple years back. Remember, he did put Tim Tszyu down in that fight. So I like the matchup. I think it's a good first test as a true champion for Adames. I think Adames is going to beat Gausha. I'm predicting him to stop Gausha in the late rounds, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to the scorecards. But I'm picking Adames by a late stoppage or a decision. Should be an interesting battle. Then the technical co-feature, you got David Benavidez battling for the interim WBC light heavyweight title that's vacant as he takes on former WBC light heavyweight champion Alexander Vovcik. I did a breakdown video on this fight. Make sure to go watch it. This is a very good matchup right here and a tough one for Benavidez. Yes, Vovcik is 36, but remember, after his stoppage loss, his only defeat to Beterbiev, in which he was beating Beterbiev in the 10th round when he got stopped, he took about 3 years off out of the ring. And so I don't think you know, he's gonna be as quote unquote old as people think. He's got a lot to fight for with the Ukraine, you know, with all his Ukrainian Olympian team battling their asses off and winning their most recent fights and world titles. He's got a lot to prove and fight for, and I think a lot of people are overlooking him because Benavidez has such a big name, and he's the guy that everybody wants Canelo to fight. Gonna be a very good light heavyweight scrap. They're both about the same size, but I do believe Benavidez, the youth, and I think he's gonna carry up power because he's been cutting down to 168, and I think that has affected his power. So I think the later rounds, it's going to be similar to what we saw with Beterbiev and Vovcik, and I think Benavidez is going to stop him in the late rounds. I definitely think it could go to the scorecards. I definitely think that Vovcik could pull off the upset here, but we just got to wait and see what happens. But again, I'm very much so looking forward to it. Should be a good one in the co-feature, but I got Benavidez in that one. Then in the main event, Gervonta Tank Davis battling undefeated Frank Martin, defending his Davis defending his WBA lightweight championship of the world. Big fights await the winner here. I'm really looking forward to seeing the style clash because Davis has that picks his moments power style versus Frank Martin's boxing style. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these two southpaws collide. It's tough to say, but I think Davis knows what he's doing, and I think he's going to catch Frank Martin at some point and hurt him badly and beat him in the middle of the later rounds and retain his lightweight championship. But I do believe with Martin's style, he has the kind of style that if Davis can't catch him, he could definitely beat him by a decision. So really looking forward to this matchup. I am picking Davis by stoppage. I got Benavidez by stoppage. I got Adames by stoppage. I have Gary Antoine Russell by stoppage. Mark Magsayo by stoppage. The preliminaries, I got Elijah Garcia over Kyron Davis. I'm actually going to say a decision in that one. And then I got Romain Villa stopping Ricardo Salas also in the prelim. Make sure to watch all these fights, 7 of them between the prelim and the main card, this Saturday, June 15th, Amazon Prime pay-per-view. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.